call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. in the Dean ISD Board of Trustees, May 2024. We have our quorum with all members present, with Terrell on Zoom. And so let's go to our invocation and pledge. Derek, if you would not mind leading us in our prayer, and then we'll have the pledge immediately following.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this day, all your blessings. Thank you for bringing us here together tonight at the school board meeting. I pray that you would just have your way throughout all the discussion points, all the topics that are on the agenda tonight. I pray first I want to thank you for the school year, getting us through that and helping the teachers, staff, faculty, students, everyone get through this year safely and hopefully in the best case scenario possible. Thank you for bringing us through this year. Pray for a great summer for everyone, good rest, just regeneration, everything that's needed to get everyone ready for the upcoming school year. Pray blessings for teacher, faculty, staff, students, all involved, Lord. And pray for our community, blessings for them. I pray that there will be strong community support for our schools, for our students, and that there will be the guidance and the support necessary for each to be successful. And we ask for your will and way tonight, Lord. We trust in you. In your name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any citizen participation? Okay, so we're going to administer the oath of office to Heath and Derek now. Have the two of you come to the, you want to sign first?
How do you normally do it?
I think they have to sign it after, actually.
Yeah, sign it
So
after.
you go ahead and come to the front, and then you'll raise your hand and just repeat the oath together at the same time. Right hand up, yes, and begin.
3. I, Derek Alvin, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of the school board of trustee for the Dillon Independent School District of the state of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of the state. So
this
help
state, and so help me God.
It's kind of like it's kind of like at graduation when you have that feedback.
Jared, what's your address?
5292.
The feedback is.
It's one of those I didn't agree with.
Yeah.
The vaccine. Yeah.
That's funny.
And sign right up there.
Yes.
Please.
And then y'all have to sign. All,
Okay.
we all need.
Yeah.
She's got it.
What's your address?
547.
547.
Okay.
And from.
962, 962.
No, we'll do that for me. Jess.
162, 962, I can do it, but I can't start.
You've already signed
The
there?
one
Okay.
that we did, you know, which person we were totally different one. The one that we did, remember, it was like 3 or 4 cards, and it was like every time, it just seems like it's a different one. So that one,
just a second.
that one sounded, yes, that one sounded like a better one. Okay, so let's move to the reorganization of the board, and I just want to quickly say, I've enjoyed this last year as president. I feel like I've grown in the role. I obviously would love to do it for another year. I am not going to freak out if somebody else ends up being president. So everybody is eligible. As long as you had a year on, everybody's had that. Every person here is an incredible board member, that would do an amazing job. So let's open up the floor and do nominations for the president role first.
I'll make a motion to nominate you again, Carrie, as the president.
I'll second it.
Other,
I'm gonna nominate Heath.
any other names? Okay, so let's do, our vote for that. So we'll do my name first, as it was presented first. So all those that are in favor for Carrie Morris as president for the year going forward? What's happening with Terrell?
Carol? How are you voting? Okay, we're voting for president.
Okay.
All right, so,
The first name is Carrie Morris. And you can vote or you can not vote, and you can wait for the second name.
okay, are you gonna vote for Carrie or Heath for president of the school board? Okay. All right.
Okay, so you have 4, and I'm abstaining. Okay, and so then for Heath, is Cody?
Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Okay. And the good part about this is that I'm not gonna hold on, so somebody else will be taking this very soon, don't worry. Okay, so move on to vice president. Okay, so our current vice president is Cecilia Boswell. I think you've done an amazing job this year. I appreciate everything that you've done. I've visited with Dr. Boswell a little bit about how she feels on going forward, and I think at this point, she's interested in passing the baton. And so Cecilia, I'll let you say a little something about that if you'd like to.
I would like to nominate Derek Caldwell for vice president.
Do you have any other nominations for that position? Okay, let's vote on that. All those that are in favor of Derek for vice president for the future year? What do you think, Terrell?
We're gonna say that she already did.
Okay, so then we'll move on to, Secretary Rachel Wofford has held this position for us for the last year. She's done a very good job. Appreciate all that you've done. I've also visited with Rachel about how she might feel, about holding this position in the future, and she also is very interested in passing on her baton. So if you would like to say anything about that, Rachel?
Yes, I would like to nominate Terrell Casey.
She can't hear, so she probably has to accept that. Okay, are there other, nominations for the secretary role? Okay, let's vote on that. All those that are for Terrell Casey to hold the secretary position for the year going forward.
Congratulations, Terrell.
And then she passed out.
Dates on that one, please.
Okay, we're gonna work on these
Wait,
signature.
Sorry, let me finish and I'm out of
Oh,
here.
no.
Dates on that
Well,
one, please.
And Carol will have to do it.
She can come to the office when she gets back to work.
Okay, 20.
It is 20.
Okay, now we're moving to the signature of conflict of interest. Release of information and the ethics for board members. I've seen this before, something that we have to do every year.
Okay. All together for you. Okay. All of that needs to be signed, just like one passes.
Okay,
You keep that as
I'll
well.
keep it, yeah.
we'll pass it on, sorry.
Good night.
Good night, thank you, thank you so much, Samantha.
Can I shut the door?
Yes.
The front door?
Yeah. We'll be here by now.
Lisa, if you wanna get that, pardon, Pendergast, that's two. Thank you, and that way I won't forget.
Do we wanna sign the ethics on the one, on all of us? on
Yes,
one?
yeah,
I'm gonna sign mine and then I'm gonna hand it around to y'all, sorry. Let's do it all on the same sheet. So, yeah,
You'll sign on the page. And I'll put the date on it for you. She started today, so.
everybody understands the conflict of interest, right?
No, he doesn't do that, because he doesn't. He's not a signer.
Is this the most recent term? Is it like the date of active member of the board?
I'll look it up and figure it out for y'all, if y'all need that one,
And mine's still on the back of that. I didn't pull it out.
because I have it written down somewhere.
Thank you.
It was more about the first.
We signed the poll.
As long as your signature's on it, I'll finish it out. I signed Don's signature, but I'm not,
Yeah, y'all can do that at the next meeting if you want to. I don't think it matters.
It wasn't somebody else that was like me.
Now, does everybody pass that to you? I've got a copy of that. Okay, Derek and Heath, did y'all already pass yours?
thank you.
Good deal. Okay, let's move to the consent agenda. We have the approval of minutes of the previous meeting. Did anyone have any corrections to those? Okay. Let's look at our comparison of revenue to budget.
Right on track. It was, remembering that it was a deficit budget, but we are still on track to stay within the boundaries of that.
Is the state revenue usually as far behind at this point? Is it kind of lagging?
It's a little lagging this year, it is, but, it's close. It usually is ahead of us,
Yeah.
but,
Okay, and let's talk about our tax collections report.
tax collections, we collected $47,410.72 since our last meeting. I will also tell you that, at the same time last year, we're down about 100, I think Mr. Thompson may mention that in his budget amendment, but down about $100,000, and that's due to people who protested taxes, and it's a little more than normal, and we will not be collecting those, because the protests were approved, so, down a little bit over what was been projected to collect.
Okay, do we have any questions on that? Okay, and we'll look for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Okay, thank you, Derek.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Terrell, what say you?
We lost her.
She's having a volume, she's having a volume issue, I don't know if there's anything that can be done with that
Carol, you still there?
laptop. Okay,
You approve the consent agenda as written?
okay, great, so that's, unanimous. Okay, so for our discussion items, before we get, going on these campus reports, I know everyone has received, Amber's letter, and I'm glad you're here tonight, so we can take this opportunity to thank you as a board for the last 3 years, right? As our campus administrator over at the junior high, you've done so much. We all know, the scenario that the junior high was in before you came in. I know it was a lot of work. I know you pulled that group of teachers and team members together and done a lot of hard work there, and we really appreciate it, so thank you very much. Thank you.
And her resignation is not in here because it came in after this question, so.
You can't leave.
That's what I keep thinking.
Yeah, if we don't accept it, then.
Right. Can't have it.
Okay, so, we gave the principals the night off, because that's pretty typical in the summer, and they worked really hard and they deserve it. But Ms. Womack wanted to come in tonight.
Well, I did, I really don't have a whole lot to say, but I did want to kind of update you on a few changes and a few things going on. One thing Dr. Marable and I have visited, we know we've all kind of talked about the daycare, and we are approved, we're official, so that was good news. But because I think they have different rules for business daycares, which we are considered, there has to always be a 4-to-1 ratio. It does not matter the age, they can be 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds, it's still 4-to-1. So in looking at the numbers that we have right at 12, or 11 or 12 that wanted to be in the daycare. Well, doing that would mean we have to hire another full-time para for 4 children. So I visited with Dr. Marable and just kind of threw out the idea about instead of having one person for 4 children, us opening up a 3-year-old program, pre-K. Since there's really nothing else in town, there's no daycare, just to give parents that opportunity. Of course, we can collect ADA on a 3-year-old just like we do 4-year-olds, so they can either qualify and come for free, or they can pay, which I believe is $350 a month for 10 months. So right now, currently, we have, I believe, right at 12 already signed up, so we felt like that is more helpful to have a 3-year-old program and use that para there, because that would move some of those children out of the daycare that had late 3-year-old birthdays, so that they could move into the pre-K. So we will have a 3-year-old program. We are currently fixing to interview for a teacher for that program. In addition, we have great numbers in the 4-year-old program right now. Normally this year, you're not surprised if you have, only 10 or 15, but we are pretty full already in the 4-year-old program. We had a situation where a pre-K teacher resigned. I believe her
Resignation
is in there. Ms. Lowry has decided to resign, and in doing that, I really visited with Dr. Marable. We reflected on our current enrollment. And I've lived through a situation where we had to RIF teachers, and if the enrollment dropped too low, and it's not often on my campus we have very much turnover. most teachers are there and they've been there for a while. So, I felt it was a good idea to look at that and see what our numbers were, because I knew coming up, we have a small first grade class. So currently, right now, we have 40 first graders, and, I can tell you right now of 4 that are moving. So, you know, there could be 5 more moving, there could be 6, but I doubt that happens in one grade level. So since we had an opening there to cut staff, I went to Mrs. Simpson, who is in 2nd grade, and she was so gracious. She's taught pre-K before, and she agreed to move down to the pre-K position. So she was so nice about it. And, you know, sometimes you'll run into the night screaming. She loved her position, she loved her team, but if you see her, there, thank you. That was very nice of her to do. And it wasn't just, if it were just 1 year, we just kind of grit our teeth and just go through. But coming up, the numbers are smaller. And so right now in our kindergarten, we have about 37. And I am not allowing any retentions. We did not in kindergarten this year, just because it is a struggling, there's some strugglers there. And so I think it would be better to keep them in that smaller group rather than retain and because the numbers are better coming up to pre-K, to kindergarten. So then you have this big, you know, kindergarten class with a lot of struggling students that we have retained. So we've moved them all up. They'll be in smaller classes, and hopefully they will gain some maturity and gain a lot of growth, and hopefully we won't be looking at retaining so many. But even if we don't, it's still under, you know, our ratio, the 22-to-1 ratio. So, but I feel like there will be a pretty good retention from that group. So at least 2 years coming, we've got small numbers, and so it would save the district money, and 2nd grade teachers were very supportive of doing that, and we're all very gracious about it. So, I don't know what's coming. We may be in a trend. It may just be that we are just getting smaller. I don't know.
Well, I think 12 years ago when I came here, we only had 2 sections of 3rd grade, or wasn't it? Or,
We've had 3 for as long as I've been here, and then
well, what year when we had only 2 of something?
5th grade.
It was
Yes.
5th grade.
Yes, it
okay.
was 5th
Yeah,
grade.
it was 5th grade. And then we had only
Yes.
2 sections of something.
Yes, and they weren't really that small, it's just the 22-to-1 ratio did not apply to them, so we just have bigger classes. But anyway, it is small numbers coming up, but again, we've had great enrollment in our pre-K. We're pretty sure we have at least 45 that we know of already going to kinder, and we usually pick up several over the summer. So hopefully our numbers will pick back up, but all we can do is kind of plan for that to happen. And so when we do have people that do resign, we're just trying to look at it and see if we do better to shift people around rather than to retire.
With WeCats closing, did that make your,
Probably, which we really didn't do any, we already knew that WeCats was closing, so that was another reason we thought, because there's just no daycare in town.
And the
Miss
rules-
Arlene,
Yeah, we've heard about these rules before. They're really hard and that's why I think people don't open up a daycare, is because you really do,
Wow.
you really do have to hit a lot of requirements.
I'm telling you, just getting.
But we will be full of the daycare at 8, we already have 8 in there, so, hope nobody else gets hired that has a child. So, if they are, they need to be 3 or over. But anyway, it is good, but I do think it was the right thing to do.
So my last time doing this, but I'm gonna start out with saying how proud I am of the middle school staff. I feel like, it's not gonna be emotional, I'm going to. I did not know these 2 were coming tonight. So I'm glad y'all came and you can see it. I feel like we have one of the best middle school staffs in the state of Texas. And I practiced this with my husband before I left, and he's like, Amber, you better be careful. And I said, Justin, we do. And so these 2 here are top notch. They do everything else of them, and so does everyone else. And I'm so incredibly proud of the staff we have in middle school at the moment. It's really a great group. I know in the last month since we met the last time, we've taken the STAR test and the MAP test, and our teachers work so diligently to make sure our students will perform for them. And until you have a middle school kid or you have taught middle school students, it is hard because you never know what they're going to come on that day, that specific day. And so getting them to perform, the entire staff has just been amazing. They have let the students have ownership in their rewards and what their goals are and all of the things, and it really is just beautiful. It's I could not ask for more from them. So with me resigning, I know I am leaving them in good hands regardless of who steps into my spot. And I'm very thankful, grateful, and blessed with what is there. So I know that we're going to have more teachers that will qualify for TIA. Their MAP scores and prove that already. And I have full confidence that their STAR scores are going to be some of the best. I just have no doubt about it. They've worked very hard and I'm very proud of that. So we've had lots of reward trips, lots of things in place, and I feel like we finished the year very strong and in a very middle school type way. And I'm very proud of that too. I will miss it. I will miss the students and I will miss my staff dearly. But I do wish them all of the best, and I thank you, and I thank you, Dr. Marable, for everything you've done for me, and Lori. That part's been amazing, so I appreciate all that.
Well, thank you, Amber. Again, thank you for everything that you've done. And I think that junior high wrapped up really well. I called Amber and let her know I didn't get to go to the award ceremony, but Brian did, and several parents, other than just Brian, commented, on how nice it was, how all the teachers spoke about the kids. You could tell that they had personal relationships with them. They went to great lengths. That was only the 8th grade one. I'm sure 7th and 6th were just as wonderful, but I know that went really well. I actually had texted Ms. Hobson right before the meeting. I didn't know she was gonna be here either, but telling her thank you for the yearbooks. Those were really cool. We got to personalize pages in them, and that was neat. And I don't think that junior high has ever had a yearbook before. We've been kind of in the back, maybe at times of the high school one, but so that was pretty neat. There was just a lot that went on that was really, really nice, a lot of attention to detail. And it is very nice that you came and showed your support tonight, so that's great.
I'm very pleased and
That is really
extremely
nice.
proud of the last 3 years. I really am.
And you get to have our little brats all 3 years. Bless you. But thank you, and we're excited for your future, and we're well aware of the fact that you might change your mind and you may come right back around, so. All right, so let's go on to, I think, Chuck, did you have anything before safety, or you wanna just wait till then?
We graduated.
Yes, yes,
And it was beautiful, by the way, it was just gorgeous.
it was
And very,
wonderful.
very well done.
And while we're talking about that, I will say that, through the last, whatever it was, 2 weeks, really maybe 3 weeks of school, there were a lot of different functions to go to as board members. We hit every single one of them, not every person, but every single event had a board member at it, and I appreciate that very much. And all the events were so nice. They were so nice. Starting with the band concert, that was lovely. Our scholarship banquet was so nice. The sports banquet was probably the longest in history. I mean, we have a lot of athletes, boy, we really do. And I know Dr. Marable and Dawn are both upset that they missed so many of the events. I know they were definitely missed at the academic awards where Marable usually gives her speech and hands out those medals. And so I know all those were really, really nice. And I know some good discussion has come up about the future of banquets, especially probably prompted from the sports banquet, maybe splitting it into 2 different ones or things like that. But anyways, that was wonderful, and I appreciate everybody that worked on that
And
and all this together.
piggybacking off of Carrie's comments as well, there was a lot going on with the kids. There's always so much going on in May anyway, and then the fact that the sports teams did so well that they got to continue on, and so that puts a lot of pressure on the people that are planning those things. And so I know that I took that into consideration, the fact that it was gonna have to change. And so I know that's not easy on the people that plan things, and we appreciate the fact that you guys were as quick to change it as you had to be. Because that's just how it goes at the end of the year, so, thank you.
If y'all missed it, Farm Bureau had a really good pull forward.
So I will say that if you have not been to the FFA banquet before, and I had never been, that was really cool. The
Mr.
kids
Miller
put
got a
that
nice
on.
sign.
Took away outpaid me for my,
A lot of money was made that evening, but it was really cool to see the kids, get up there and preside over, and I don't know if anybody is a TikTok fan, but this summer, if you didn't know anything about FFA, you found out real quick, there was a whole bunch of controversy and different things, and it was all student-led, and it was just really interesting, and so, very, very good job on all the inputs, for certain. Lisa, do you have anything that you want to?
nothing new going on right now, just working on, needs assessments and compliance.
Thank you. All right, how about 8.2 facility projects update? I know that's why David is here this evening.
Okay. Y'all,
Very good, how are you?
good. So the first one that I wanted to talk about was the stadium parking lot. Y'all asked me to go out and get some proposals. I got 3 proposals. I actually just got another one on a text message just a minute ago. Rock and R Construction was the one that we kind of landed on. They're at 51,000. The guy is out of Comanche, so he's kind of local. Met with him, he knew exactly what needed to be done, grading in the parking lot for drainage and stuff like that. We talked about the Dublin base and what we needed to do. He was actually the first guy I met with. The cheapest bid was actually proposed to me on a text message, and I asked him to send me a proposal formally with my email address, and I never got one. So, the other one that's on here is Carpenter Dirt Work. They're out of Stephenville. I think they're just kind of a bigger company, and I think their overhead is a lot more than some of these other companies. So I was wanting to kind of rest on the 51,000 and some change proposal on that. We can move to the baseball, softball restrooms.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
Rocky Nord doesn't say how much they're going to bring. They just
I have it on
say
the
open base.
proposal. It's, he's actually doing it by the actual height of it. He's adding 3 inches of 3/4 inch Dublin base.
So that should probably be around that 1,500 tons.
It'll be about 1,500-1,700 tons,
Okay.
so. The baseball, softball restrooms, struggled on getting proposals for it. As you can kind of see, I got it broke down the way we originally proposed it. I got 1 concrete quote, I got 1 metal structure quote, I got 1 spray foam quote, and then I had 2 companies that turned in turnkey. I wasn't really asking for turnkey, but they turned them in. Extreme Steel Services is actually the people that have done both bathrooms at the stadium.
Okay.
So, when I called asking for bathrooms, he probably just went, okay, I gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, and so he turned in a turnkey proposal, and then Rowdy turned in one also. With that said, their turnkey was less, the toilets, the sinks, the supply lines, and the electrical lines, and the pumping station. They were gonna do the, rough end for the sewer, so I'm thinking that the Pro Mechanical Tech of Texas will be a little bit cheaper because they're going to not have to do the rough end. All they will have to do is the actual pumping stations and tie into the city. But when we first talked about this, I kind of gave you an estimate with the maintenance guys doing their part and that kind of stuff, and we were at 63,000. Both of those proposals together, and like I said, the Pro Mechanical one will probably drop a little bit. We're at 62.6, and the maintenance guys don't have to touch it at all. So that's kind of where we're at right there. I trust that Jess Porter's gonna do a good job because he's done 2 bathrooms already for us.
So Jess Porter is extreme.
Yes.
Is Rowdy still a consultant for us? Is there a conflict of interest on that, or is that fine?
It's
not-
fine.
It doesn't mix up.
But
Doesn't seem
If he gave his opinion, would he say he was a better one to pick?
he,
I don't know. I'm okay.
we needed another proposal.
So,
So let me ask this. We're not picking for you, you're just asking us to approve it and then you'll pick who you're gonna use, is that correct?
Mhm.
And that's the same thing over here on,
The parking lot.
you said you had another one that you received a text message on, so you
Yes, it was
haven't,
higher.
you're not exactly gonna pick somebody in particular just yet, but we're just needing to get approval.
Right.
Okay,
But I think he knows who he wants to
yeah.
choose.
I wanna do the Rock and R one.
Rock and R also, I saw their trucks at the hospital, they're doing that work out there, so.
It does a lot
There's a
of
lot
dirt
of-
work and construction.
And everybody knows there's a time restraint.
And I put out like 6 feelers and I got 3 proposals. And then I got one of those text messages to me. So, it's hard to get people to come in and give you proposals too, so. But I feel pretty confident with these right now.
I've worked with Maverick Excavation, and I can see him sending you a text, not putting a proposal together, a little less professional, does a good job, but,
Yeah,
may not be much professional is what we're looking for.
yeah.
Speaking of professional, it may not be the appropriate time to say it, but don't you just love the fencing along the stadium walls that they're putting in?
The state
I do
finally,
really like it. I still want you to, I had mentioned that the other day, I want y'all to pull forward and see how our little, just got a, driver's permit or just turned 16 and trying to go on. There's just a
There's
little bit.
there's parking lots.
no, she's talking about.
I'm
the-
talking about trying to exit the, the.
I was in the
view.
pickup the other day and it wasn't bad in the pickup.
Okay, okay.
But
Y'all just be really mindful of that, if y'all don't mind, drive through there and see if y'all see, it is difficult.
there's a straight line right there.
Yeah, and I really honestly feel like they could just do like some of, just right there at the exit, they could just do some little modification and maybe help it, but anyways, just look at that and see, but it looks very nice. Yeah, it's a good addition, we're lucky to have that. Okay, what about some other projects here? So we're gonna vote on these other two in just a little while, but we've got several things, listed here.
The lights at the old gymnasium, we just have to purchase the lights and put them in. The HVAC for the elementary, I actually got a phone call this afternoon, the equipment's in, he's gonna get with the crane guy and see where we're at on that. And then we have to build a wall at the elementary, remove a wall at the elementary, and build a half wall from what I was told.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I visited with some elementary teachers the other day about, the parking situation that you did last year, and I said, how much of a difference did it make? And they said it made a difference. So those teachers, I think, is that first grade that were getting to park there, and then that opened up spots in other places, and so,
It helped a lot.
I know it's still tight, but it did help.
Yeah.
And it looks nice.
Thank you. So, we've got plenty of projects going on, so. I looked at this afternoon, it's one summer.
The football field looked amazing for graduation, and I know a lot of work went into that. It really did, it looked beautiful, the whole event was so nice, it was just packed, but it looked so nice.
David, Carrie, what about front half of the high school parking lot?
Yeah, so are you only, so we're, I know in these, you're only looking at the football field parking lot, but, we,
And
we have trouble walking in that high school parking lot due to the giant rocks. I mean, it really is like an ankle breaker.
We can look at it and
I
see.
mean, to me, there's no need to do the whole parking lot. Because especially people coming to basketball games, they park toward the front half anyway.
Right, that's right.
But I know I've heard lots of complaints, just when you're walking on a rock like that, it's difficult. Especially if you're not looking,
And if you have
watching
trucks,
where you're
if
walking.
you have trucks already headed this direction, it might
Yeah.
actually be a little bit more cost
Well,
effective.
there's a parking lot for what I'm gonna call the high school parking lot.
Why don't you get a look at it?
But I mean, just,
Oh, look at, we'll.
I know we were talking about last year, it was to do, all the parking lots was
A lot,
100-ish,
right, 110.
110, and I couldn't remember that number, but, and I'm not saying we need to do that whole parking lot, but it sure would. I know
Yeah, we came
there were
out
several
after
people
the,
at
one of the banquets.
some of the
and-
banquets complaining, man, it's hard to
It's-
walk.
Yeah, there's some really big chunks of rock in it that make it difficult to, so obviously this
So
stuff is.
probably the one that you're looking at mostly is the one where the teachers park.
It's right there
Where the
where you
house
have
used to
had
be.
all the nice
And that could be, I mean,
cement,
I think it's on that end down there where the house used
yeah,
to be.
cement.
We had a contractor
Oh
come
my
in
goodness.
2-3 years ago, and put some rock in it.
And I think the little ones are all gone.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I'm just, something to look at.
is there a way that we
also.
could actually get some, then, like, run a bulldozer over it and break the rocks up?
Yeah,
you know,
move it around,
yeah.
move it around,
If you
smooth
could
it
just
out.
roll it,
Might could.
Might be able to.
Oh,
that's
all right.
Yeah, okay, maybe you could just look at about rolling it.
And you may roll it, get it real wet, roll it, it might sink back in the ground.
Yeah, we'll try it, we'll look at it.
Well, I'm just,
Good.
I've heard several people talking,
Yeah,
not really
absolutely.
griping, but just, it's,
we talked about.
at the dark, in the dark, one evening, it was, if you weren't paying attention where you were walking.
Sure.
Okay, good, thank you very much, David, for presenting all of that. Okay, Mr. Miller, safety audit update, please.
I do wanna say that Zaylen does compete this Saturday, at Pflugerville High School, Hendricks High School in Pflugerville, for his all-state. Remember that he played for the Frogs, he's taking the Frogs and he'll be down there Saturday. See if we can get another gold medal out of him at
That's great.
state level, which I'm sure we will, he's really amazing. Just kinda wanna quickly review the year for us, we had 4 really audits this year. The first one was our big 3-year audit that is required for every school, and we just blew it out of the water. There are some things in there we still have to finish, namely me. I've got all the numbers on my desk, now that the kids are out of the building, I'll go back and I'll get all the inside of the doors like we talked about. That's all ready to go, I should have that done before June probably. That just won't take but about a day just to get around and get it done. And then, we had a intruder at every campus this year,
Intruder audit.
Ronnie Kincaid was our intruder, and he tried to get in, and he was unable to get in on any of the 3 campuses. So we did very well, very safe schools, very proud of that. And all of the upgrades that we have done to make this possible, thank you, David, and staff, because they're just amazing. If we say, this is not right, they're there to fix it. And so that's a great thing. Wednesday, July 24th, if you put that date on your calendars, I'll also send you a message, but that's gonna be our school safety and security team. We have to have one in the fall when students are here, and one in the spring when students are here, and one in the summer. The only one of y'all that has to be here, Ms. Morris, the board president, has to be on that committee, but anybody can be it. Heath is always a pleasure, they're joining us and stuff. And we have to kind of review the emergency operation plan on that day, because we have to show date of review and change, every year, and that'll be one of the things they look at. And then they've asked for the cybersecurity, which I went through a webinar today on cybersecurity. I think I've got now about 85 to 90% done. It's just a little more, making a couple phone calls here and there, and just talking to some people, trying to figure that out. That evening, I worked with Sheriff Pounds. He's gonna try to get, first responders to walk that evening. Him and Borough Cogburn are getting together. They're gonna try to get all the fire department. Last year, we had, DeLeon Police. Do we still have a DeLeon Police to come? Maybe, maybe not. Commissioner, Sheriff, Department of Public Safety, DeLeon Fire Department and Proctor Fire Department all have representatives walking our buildings last year. And we walk all 3 campuses so they can see the layouts, get in while there's no kids. They ask questions, what's this lever, where do I pump the water here, etc. So it's a really good day for all of us just to remember and do those things.
And you realize that there's a lockbox for a key, and they all know the combination of how to get in our building, so that if they get there, they know how to get in our buildings.
And if it's ever an emergency, it's on the 911 call, it's set up that way. And so anytime we hit 911, it'll automatically come out that. And that has actually been used twice in the last little bit, where Sheriff Pounds would be walking around in the evening, and there would be a door open, and he went to the knock box, took the key out, locked the door, called me in, or texted me and said, I locked this door for you. So it's nice that they're there for him to do that, I don't have to get out of bed and come up. And then, the 2024-25, we will again use Raptor. So coming forward, it'll be our 3rd year on the Raptor contract. and we have already paid for that, yes, Ms. Nellen?
Yes.
And so we're ready to roll with that, and then after this year kind of winds down, we can choose to go forward with Raptor if we like them and what they're doing for us, or we can look at other options. So, but we had a 3-year contract, and this will be our 3rd year. As soon as Raptor rolls over, and they roll over like we do, kind of like in June, they kind of get all their schools out, they'll reset Raptor, and then I can go in and look back door and reset our drills, and put, 1 fire drill per month, and then et cetera like that. So that way, when we set off the drills, they're there, all we have to do is set drill off, and high school drills off. I'm notorious for hitting the elementary one.
We're all running around like, what is happening with us?
And then last, I'm pleased to announce that the Verkada cameras that we talked about last time are here. They
And that's
came
for all the
in.
schools, right? Is it for all
Yes,
the schools?
yes, the Raptor is, and so is Verkada. Verkada's here, Mike's got cameras, we've been talking with the people, they've asked for the layouts of the schools, so their technicians can come in, and looks like this should be coming quickly, and it should all be up and running before school starts, so we can actually have time to play with it.
And it's outside too, right?
It's outside, it's inside, it's any dead spot we could find, it is, and that's the restroom, vape detectors,
Perfect.
environmental sensors, and so it should be the whole shebang, so hopefully, it will be a great thing. It should be great.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have exciting board training opportunities coming up. I believe Dr. Merrill told you it's mandatory.
Well, it's required training. You have to get it
It's
some
mandatory.
Try to come on June the 3rd, if we can get it all done. If we all come on June the 3rd, we also get team building for that. You'll get team building, so you get
That'd be great.
double for your money, training wise on that day.
And we have food at it, right?
We'll have
food at
It'll be
Y'all
food.
come.
It'll probably be Subway unless somebody has a better idea. But
Do I need to have the library set up any certain way for you guys?
yes, we'll.
Just like we normally do?
We'll need the library set up we'll probably have 3 or 4 schools there, so it'll need to be set up for probably, maybe 40 people.
Yeah, the way it was done last year was really nice.
Yeah.
Will you use the projector?
Mhm.
Okay, that's what we do.
I guess it wasn't last year, I guess it was the year before, but it was really good. Okay, and then I guess we have one coming up June 8th.
That is at the service center. It's an all-day Saturday, and it's an option for you if you want to go to it. However, the ISO is part of that, so we'll get that out of the way. But I did want y'all to know that they will have an all-day training
Okay,
that
so if
day.
somebody chooses
But
to do that,
It
they
is
can
an all-day
contact
on
Rachel.
Saturday. Yeah. Yes, if you wanna go, call Rachel.
All right, let's move on to the action items, consideration and approval of donations and gifts to the district. I hope everyone has had a chance to look at these. It is so nice to see all the different, scholarship money coming in. Like I said, that banquet was really nice, and it's always so impressive to see how many different, groups or individual families, will kindly give scholarships to our very deserving students. There'll be more, this is not everything, some have been coming in all throughout the year, and then some will come a little bit later on. But anyhow, it's really nice to see all of that.
I have a question. Other than right here, where is this available to the public, or is it?
Do you have a report that has the total scholarship amounts given in by whom?
No.
My question is, I know that the third one there wanted to be anonymous, and yet here we have named him, and I wonder if that person would be unhappy if it was publicly made.
So it would only be this should only be just to this small group, but it's not in the paper or anything like that, so I think he'll
Yeah,
remain pretty
Don't
anonymous.
put that in the paper.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying, yeah.
I'm sure that this came to Ally and that it didn't say anonymous, it just
Right,
said
right,
scholarship.
right, okay.
So this is the list she gives me.
Okay. And I mean, I've been asked this question before, like at the banquet, like sometimes where, the person that's presenting the scholarship, or sometimes, Miss Ivy would present it if the person didn't want to, and sometimes they say the dollar amount and sometimes they don't. So Miss Ivy does not say the dollar amount but if someone, so like say Tim Beatty, for
She
example,
did some.
if he, so I think they've designated that, so then like.
But
when
they
people
didn't
come
ask.
up-
No,
Yeah.
because I also gave one and no one asked, like,
Yeah,
they
so-
asked me how much, but they didn't,
Yeah.
you know, so.
So then the person giving it announces that dollar amount so that they can kind of decide if it's gonna be confidential or not confidential. But obviously, the people in the crowd love to hear the dollar. We wanna know, we
I
wanna
think
be
it's
excited.
important for the
Yeah.
community to know,
Yeah.
like, how much that, because also there were several kids that, or parents at least, I don't know exactly how the whole thing works out, but, that didn't know that they were available, you know, so I don't know if it's like kids not doing it or what, but like Tyson's scholarship was for $3,200 and it was for somebody that was going to go to a vocational school. And I didn't have very many, and I looked in the paper of the seniors who all was going where, and there was probably 7 or 8. And that could have, no, I'm not saying you have to or anything, but, you know, the parents might kind of help them, their child out if they knew it was available. And I don't think that they knew, well, actually, I know that they didn't know.
Right.
So, but old parents said that they didn't know.
Well, the parents may not have known, but
Yeah.
kids knew.
Yeah.
Because Miss Ivy announces it, and she talks to kids and.
Yeah.
And encourages, and a lot of them just do not want to write.
And that may be the case, but I still think it's
But it's nice at the scholarship banquet, so like a parent could see that and be like,
Yes.
ooh, you're gonna apply for that next
Yes.
year, and like kind of be that.
Yeah,
Be that.
because we're still their parents and they
Yeah.
still need guidance.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. So we're looking for a motion on that then.
I'll approve the gift certificate.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Do we think, Terrell, are you in favor? Okay, thank you. Okay, let's talk about this insurance.
Okay, I have looked at it, so I've turned pretty much insurance-y. It looks like that it's a little bit cheaper for the individuals than it was last year. It is a fully funded insurance policy. It is with Blue Cross Blue Shield. When our employees go to the doctor, the hospital, or whatever, they'll know it, they'll recognize
Well,
it.
then, just.
The school district will not get left, holding the bag, as we did this year. One of the questions that when Lisa and Ally and I were looking at it today was well checkups, and they are covered totally.
Okay.
They're covered, and we couldn't find anywhere in there that it said that, but he said it was covered totally. Yeah, that's what he said.
Well,
That's
not
what he said.
it is, but, that's right, but several individuals ended up going to the doctor for that and then had to pay for it out of pocket, or pay a copay for it.
Well, they just decided this year they weren't paying for blood work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you need your annual cholesterol check, you
Yeah.
have to pay for that. I got a $200 and something bill for that.
Anyway, the well checkups are fully funded, is what he told us this afternoon. So anyway, he said, they'll start in June, they'll
They're
start
supposed to be
in,
sometimes.
September.
Yeah, so
September to September.
Yeah.
Correctly.
We'll still be on this insurance, or the school district will be on this insurance through
Until,
August.
yeah, last day of
And-
August.
and right now, we are okay. Unless there's a big thing, probably this summer, we won't have to do any more mailing out after tonight. So,
Are each of these lines, like the plan ID, that's for the individuals, is that what, on so many lines?
those are people that, yeah,
And families and.
that are presently on, you know, that's what he used to
Right, so
base.
he took our current base and then he applied it to this scenario so you know what's happening.
And,
Look at 12,
and our-
second.
and our numbers were really good compared to some other districts because we have, our numbers, we've not had many claims. We were financially better off, so.
And so, once this is approved, individuals that are on this plan can choose their plan, if they want PPO, they want HMO, you know, there's it seems like there's a lot of different options here. And so.
There's three. There's three.
The last year, I think there were 5.
Yeah, this looks like there's
They're all
one.
bad.
But anyhow, and then obviously their dollar amount that they're gonna pay is gonna change a little bit based off of which program that they choose. It says 4 reading plans,
This is,
but, okay, those are the three, okay.
those are the three.
Okay, so
This
this is the
this
bid.
compares to the middle one of what we have now. Last year we had 5.
Okay.
But he narrowed it to 3. These people are the same people that have our liability, casualty, our buildings and everything insured with Higginbotham. What do you call it, Rachel? The people that go out and get Blue Cross Blue Shield, the carriers?
Yeah,
Well, anyway, Higginbotham does our insurance, and then we're insured by Pete, and then we'd be insured by Blue Cross Blue Shield. But, also, in this, there, for the other stuff, for the dental, all the other little insurance, we'll be joining the West Texas Cooperative, whatever, and they have a really good track record and comparable prices, I think it's a really good deal. Those prices won't change dramatically either way. But we would be joining West Texas Cooperative to do that. And West Texas Cooperative has voted to let us in. Because they looked at our record and they let us in. So,
Okay, so I misspoke when I said that PPO would be an option. It's 2 different HMO possibilities and then the blue choice. So those are the 3 options that people are picking from. So it looks like a middle of the road that is comparable to what most were doing already, or a step up or a step down. Is that the right way to look at that?
Yeah.
Okay, who's got questions?
Yes, can we get just like a simple comparison? This is your current plan, this is the new plan, instead of 75 pages of.
well, this is what, this page was included in what I sent y'all, and then you probably can't find it. You want me to run this off for everybody?
I just want to see it.
If that's not the current,
That's, Lisa,
No,
you know where that current
the
one is?
Yes, the current one.
We looked up.
The current one, yeah, it was stapled and it had several pages.
Is it in my red folder?
I'm wondering also,
I thought
if
you
this
wanted
is this premium, that's $30
options.
That's not pretty common on that cost. Okay. So we're gonna go into resolutions today, so what our insurance, what we put in right now is 300, plus 250, we're at 300 right now, and we're saving that for a future conversation, so we can see kind of what this cost is, kind of what we're gonna do with the stipend. And when you get into that, you have to remember that not all of our employees take any insurance, so when you give out whatever that is, you try to increase that dollar amount, you might not affect them at all. The stipend would cover everyone, right? Is that correct, or does stipend only cover returning teachers? Did we pay our stipends to our administrators?
It only affected returning teachers. So,
So our administrators don't get that same, that stipend doesn't go to the administrators?
Yeah,
All
you
of it.
come
In the fall, and we were, I think everybody.
Everybody?
What?
It wasn't just for returns or conversations about what we were gonna do for contributions to insurance later on.
no, it was only, it was supposed to be on the returning teachers.
Yeah, so as long as you return.
See that for you.
We wouldn't turn it down.
But yeah, so when you're thinking about that insurance, not every city takes it. And we know that a lot of people have stepped away from it because this has been a rough go. Yeah, okay.
This first sheet is the new insurance.
That's
For
the
next year.
proposal. That's
Okay.
right.
And this is our current plan.
And that's.
This is the current one,
Yeah.
okay.
so, like she said, there were 5 plans before, so when you're looking at that, I believe the high deductible, RFP, the middle of the road one, is that, is that right, Dr. Marable? That
Yes.
this would be kind of what you're comparing to the middle Blue Advantage HMO, that middle column there, that says MTEA BO 42. So you can see they're running very close on their, dollar amounts.
Well, and by the way, let's all remember, they don't pay. These people, this is how much the people, our employees pay, but when they didn't pay their bills. That's why in a little while, you're going to be asked to approve a budget amendment that, for about $250,000 to pay their bills. And this plan is fully insured, they will not come back to the school district for any money.
And are we approving it for 1 full year, or are there multiple years that we're gonna do this for?
They just asked for a year.
Okay, so it's 1 full year,
And we-
so
and
if
we-
you
so we
have
have-
problems on it, we can,
We can't get back into TRS for 2 more years,
Okay.
2 more full years.
and we don't know that, I mean, don't forget why we left in the first place. So, we're not saying we wanna go back, that's just what the time frame is.
And we have to notify the Region Service Center by the end of this month if we're going to pull out. Otherwise, we will have this, what we have now next year.
Okay, so pulling out would end it on the last day of August.
Yep.
I agree that it's wrong, it has the wrong date. It says August 24, it should say 25, shouldn't it?
Where are you looking at, Tara?
On the agreement, that agreement, that first
Okay.
thing.
Oh, okay.
It says September 1st, 24 through August 31st, 24, should say 25.
That's correct. The August date should say 25, so when she signs that, she'll be able to write that in. So here's the September day, where does it say August? It does not say August on it. It just says it begins in September.
And there's another page, so
Okay,
this one
okay,
right
so
here.
this one right here's the note. Thank you, Terrell.
Thank you, Terrell. And I'm gonna change it and initial it.
Is this employee contribution premiums down here?
Jared, what page are you on?
On this sheet here,
Oh, on this one.
is the monthly and annual premium, is that employee contribution, or is that,
No.
school?
But the $466.
All, there's numbers in all 3 columns.
Yes, for that one plan, it's $466, that would be what they play
Okay,
for one employee. Then for employee and spouse, employee and children, employee and family, and then
Down below that, in the blue.
that's how much the district.
Okay,
sends
district
in.
contribution, okay.
Yeah, that's how much the district sends in.
That HSA is, what's this?
You have to be responsible for so much more as the person taking the risks. If you're a healthier person, then you might wanna go with a higher deductible, and you might want, like, if you only go to the doctor twice a year, then you're
you the truth, I looked what the individual are paying, I didn't look at those numbers down there.
What are we paying currently for this? What is UNIC paying currently for this?
The monthly and the annual premium.
A lot,
Is
I
what he's
don't know,
asking.
but a lot. Plus $250,000 that you're about to pay.
I just wanna know what that compares to in relation to this.
Right.
I mean, as far as what the teachers and staff pay, I mean, it's pretty
I mean,
common.
it's close.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part of it is really similar to the others. We don't know because we don't have the numbers to compare to.
This, these are the total annual premium here, and it's just strange the way that it's. You can do that.
I ended up with 2 pairs of glasses in here. If I go one more time, I might have to. I think I would come.
I have a little pair that, I have a little pair that, it's like I was on. They're 1.25, but I'm past that.
I have a pair of balloon. This way I keep it inside.
I think that's.
Now.
Multiply these three.
No, you add those 3 times and multiply by 5%. Add it, that gets you the 715, which we're close to.
I do have his number on speed dial.
Well, it would actually be though, our current guy that came and presented to us not too long ago, that would have the answers on what our current numbers are.
Yeah.
So the pickleball now is on
They're not gonna tell us, I'll just tell you, it's been like getting, we know how, we'll know how much we send in, and how much they bill us, but,
But I
to
just
get
want-
these kinds of numbers,
well, I think would know what we're paying every month and every year to our insurance, would you?
that's what we know.
Yeah, what you've already paid on those monthly premiums and the annual premiums, yeah, she would know what that is.
And just so we know what we're gonna pay in comparison to what we have been paying, because it can be a huge change.
And I understand exactly what Dr. Maribel's saying, she's saying, anything would be better because they didn't cover any of the stuff that they said they were going to anyway, so we're paying our monthly and annual premiums and all this other money. But I think they're coming from the standpoint of, but we're still not wanting to jump into a bad situation, so we still need to know the numbers. Is that-
Yeah, we're getting a better deal at what cost. So
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
that's-
So I don't think anybody's really sitting here thinking that they wanna continue on with our current plan. I don't think anybody's
No,
thinking that.
no.
That's not what we're dealing with here, but we are wanting to figure out who the best person to go with. And so our time frame on this is the end of the month, is that what you said, end of May? That we have to have a decision, or we do get stuck with these guys for a whole nother year again.
and let me say that I don't even think the service center is going to stay with these people. I think the service center is going with, he has not told me that exactly, but I get the feeling the service center is going with, this proposal. That's all I'm aware.
I think another situation that we're running into is who will take us? Who's willing to take us on?
And these are the people. And I guess my thought on it was that this is someone we know, and, we've just been led down a really tricky path.
So what does it cost? What does it cost UISD to pay for Blue Cross Blue Shield for next year?
Okay, it cost, we'll pay, what we pay we pay $300
300 right now.
we pay $300 per employee across the board. That's what we pay them. We pay that. The employee pays the Southern.
Right.
So, it's not gonna cost the district any more than the 300 times the enrolled employees. Is that not correct?
Right, but I think when he
Is it
asked
same
you,
rate?
I think when he asked you what the district paid, and we talked about these monthly and annual premiums, did we not just say that was the district portion? Yes. I thought that was the answer to that question when he asked you that.
So,
Okay, Dr.
think that-
Hernandez, what about the people who do not take the insurance?
They don't get any, that's why you all talked about when you did the stipend, that was a more fair thing because everybody doesn't take the insurance like,
got it.
like some people's husbands or wives have insurance and they're gonna, I don't have this insurance, I have teacher retirement insurance.
But we still have
So
to make
that's
a
our
decision.
decision.
Yeah, when we get to the stipend situation, we'll talk about that, but here, we still have to give a good insurance and help our teachers that are using it get out of the bind that they're currently in from making this bad
So
choice.
what are we thinking? Number one, we have to get out there. And number two, with this new one, talk with them, then we'll decide
Anything outside. of-
how we.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right now, as it stands,
Okay,
we're
y'all
gonna
say
fund
it,
it
y'all say it
$300.
again. Y'all ask that question again, and let's see if we can get the answer on it, ask it again.
Okay, if we're currently paying $300 per person.
Mhm.
What are we paying under the new Blue Cross Blue Shield if we go this route per person?
That's currently what we're sticking to until we decide.
That's,
that we're
until
gonna do
y'all
it.
change it,
Yeah,
until you
we're-
change
That's our
it,
contribution.
you're going,
It's
our
gonna be
contribution is the same.
300 regardless.
And
So
that's
the
only
process
for
is
the
same.
ones who have the insurance.
What does it say?
It's
Well, that's our-
separate.
that's our
Y'all voted
personal.
on
If
that,
that's
to
our
give
district
each
doing that.
employee having insurance that much money.
That's on
It's
the
just
side.
separate from these policies. It's what y'all are giving, the district is giving each employee. So that's separate, so that won't change. It'll still be 300, no matter what insurance.
Unless you go to change it.
Right, which we can make that, decision at
So
whatever time.
it's not gonna cost the district any more than what it's costing right now unless you all vote to change and increase the amount we pay.
For
And
the
remember-
stipend piece. But you said that the way the current insurance is, they didn't pay, and so the school now has to pick up all of the debt that they did not pay. So that $500,000 or whatever you just said it was, $250,000, that won't even be that won't be, with this plan, will not even be.
That won't
insured.
happen.
So we,
Usually when something sounds too good to be true, it is. That's why
this
sure we're not-
is
yeah.
definitely not too good to be
Yeah,
true though.
okay.
It's
I
not.
mean,
I think
but
that
it's a better
Short
option.
transfer.
I completely understand where you're coming from. I think that we have tried to run the exact opposite of everything that this program presented, just like Lori was saying. When it first came in, it was a name that was recognized,
Right.
everyone had tried it out, it was
Yeah.
working well, and then they all did the old bait and switch. And so that is why Higginbotham, which is a name that everybody knows as far as, an insurance agent, and the Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is an insurance, that everyone is gonna accept. They're not gonna balk at that. You're gonna get in for your appointment, you're gonna, they're gonna pay those, invoices as they're coming in. And so this should run the exact opposite. Now, I do think it's good that it's only for 1 year still, so we can see what happens.
Absolutely. But I think, did I understand correctly, there are already 3 schools in the region that are going with this,
That's why
possibly
that's why he's not here tonight. He is actually
at another one.
at another school district. There are 3 districts about our size, a little bit bigger, and I got the feeling that the Regional Service Center will be going for this same plan. We've looked at it, we've had numerous Zooms, we've listened, to a lot of things,
I
but,
don't trust
and
anyone.
what is the name of this people we're with now? It's initials,
Yeah.
benefits, whatever.
Yes.
The people have come up with another plan, but quite frankly, I don't trust them. I just don't. they told us that we would have Aetna insurance for our employees, and then it was not Aetna insurance. And, we got no notice, we got no warning, I just think we have to go with someone we can trust. It's gonna, I think this is a good plan, I think that it's not gonna cost the district any more than we've already committed to pay. It's not, I'm not gonna come up at the end of the year and say, okay, it's gonna cost us another $250,000 because they didn't pay their bills. I think Blue Cross Blue Shield needs to pay their bills, and it is fully insured.
Is that in writing anywhere?
Pardon?
Is that in writing anywhere?
Somewhere in this, it says fully
Okay.
insured. It is fully insured. Yeah, this was the thing going in. It has to be fully insured.
How do y'all feel about us swapping over to someone that's having Blue Cross Blue Shield as the carrier? Does that feel?
In the past, we had Blue Cross Blue Shield, why did we leave them in the first place?
So I think Blue Cross Blue Shield was that under the previous program, because I think they increased,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, and then they made us a deal with Aetna, which didn't stay Aetna for any time at all.
It was the cooperative that
It's really a scary thing to do either way, but staying where we are.
Well, staying where we are is not an option.
Well, we're not,
I mean, I'll
I
agree with
listened
that.
to
we're not
several
gonna hold
things,
hands with
and they're
anybody.
all
We are
just-
our individual selves. We're not dependent on another school district for everything. This is. And,
And I know this is a sophomore question. Did the other schools in this, co-op with us, did they say that they're gonna pay their part? Or did we say we don't care what you're doing anymore, we're just gonna pay ours and leave? So we don't actually know if they're gonna do it.
some of them are paying their part, and some of them say they're not going to pay it.
And we definitely want out of that situation where we're
This is
not, no.
Not a
So,
co-op.
okay.
This is just for us.
Okay.
It's just for us.
Is there, any opportunity on the, deductible or premiums to get lower for longer terms, or,
Not for 1 year.
I don't think we went
But
longer?
maybe for next year.
So
Maybe,
potentially able to negotiate that after we have our trial year and say, okay, that went okay, now we're looking at a longer,
Yeah.
potential longer contract.
they will be interested in doing that because they'll know that within a year from then, that we would be able to go back into TRS, so,
Yeah, I like, we can make a little here, but I'd like to try to fight for some better premiums and deductibles than what we're getting off of
Well,
here.
better deductibles, I mean,
There's better out there.
all three deductibles are pretty much the same.
They are.
You're not getting a bed-based situation, it's,
No, but then you start getting in here where like you look at your first two plans that are obviously less or what have you, but they don't have any now out-of-network coverage, so if you,
correct.
so that's a big deal. So you wanna make sure as the employee that you always go somewhere and you check with everybody that you're coming in contact with, not just the hospital, not just, I mean, it's the anesthesiologist, all that stuff, it's a whole thing.
We've got Blue Cross, and usually everybody around here takes it, so, but it, yeah, it's a big trouble if you don't stay in network.
Yeah, you get that big booklet from Blue Cross Blue Shield that says, here's your network, here's who's in it, here's who's not. You gotta really dig through that and make sure you're making choices now that it's somebody that's in there.
You've got input from people, this is,
we talked to a lot of people.
okay.
I think everybody that I've talked to feels very comfortable going with a company that they, recognize.
well, I'm 100% on favor of going with Blue Cross Blue Shield, just because everybody knows that one. Nobody knows the one in Carroll.
No, they don't.
Okay, do you guys wanna talk about it for a little bit longer, or do we, don't feel comfortable?
As comfortable as you can.
Question marks like that.
I'll make a motion, sorta, kinda, to,
You sound just like the old insurance.
Non-committal. It's frightening.
I mean, mainly because we're fixing to go, I want out of what we got, 100%.
Yes.
But, I I wasn't here at last month's meeting, y'all might have asked all the questions, but I don't see where we've got a whole lot of say, because we did, I'd make a decision in 10 days.
So typically, just to remind you guys, typically we wouldn't even be involved in this. Dr. Marable, Lisa, we'd all get together, we would figure all this out, they would sign it, and they would just let us know about it. But because we've had the snafu take place, and it's a big dollar snafu, I think that this is kind of a little bit of an insurance policy in itself to say, hey, the board got in on this, and we all went on it together. And so, I mean, you know, I think that due diligence has taken place, and we're just, you know.
We've spent many, many hours looking at options, and this is the best one for us right now.
I'm on board with it, if we're not paying more than we're currently paying, but we're getting better service, at least comparable, and with the thought that, you know, after we have a year testing them out, we can go for a longer term of years to get a better price.
And during the year, we can try to shop some too, maybe have more than one person say, here, you know, maybe have some people compete against each other just a little bit, so if we think we need that. There's different insurance carriers that, agents, I mean, that also have Blue Cross Blue Shield that might be able to come up with better numbers for us. So that's always a possibility in the future for sure.
Even within Blue Cross, I printed off ours from Blue Cross, and
Mhm.
you know, there's better deals.
There are, especially when you're bringing this number of clients in, so there should be. So, I think for now, this is what is available,
Did he make a motion?
so.
I'm gonna second these.
My motion, I'll let you.
Thank you, Cody.
I'm gonna second his half, 90, kind of sideways.
Do we need a motion to get out of this one, or
Now,
just get out?
So that's pretty much kind of.
all right, I have a note on my pad to tell him tomorrow.
Okay, all right, so we are looking for, approval on this, all those in favor?
Terrell?
Okay, that's 7-4. Okay, thank y'all, I know that's really hard, I know there's gray area in there.
That's just a TV, it's not the computer.
Okay.
That's the screen.
Let's move to 9.3.
Touch the screen.
This is the consideration and approval of the baseball, softball restrooms, and the resurfacing of the stadium parking lot. And I do want to just remind you guys again, we're not picking one of these, he'll pick which one. We're just approving it for him so that he can move forward.
And I hope it's all right, I put those both on the same thing. If you wanna separate them, you can.
Does
I
anybody
make a
want to
motion
separate?
that we go forward with the stadium parking lot, baseball, softball, restrooms.
Thank you, Cody.
I'll second.
Okay, and all those in favor? Terrell, good, thank you. Okay, that's all four. Okay, the next fun topic, let's move to this budget amendment number 1 and see if we can make heads or tails of all these numbers. Hopefully you've all had a chance to kind of look this over.
If you remember at the first of the year, about this audit, we approved the $399,433 deficit budget. So, we are doing some budget amendments, moving some money around. In the process, that number will move to $945,087. Mr. Thompson has given you a narrative on the fourth page of that. What he's doing, how he's moving the money around, and money will come from fund balance. Remember that there's $250,000 in fund balance that you approved when we built the ag barn, that was already sitting there earmarked for construction, and you approved moving it out to do the ag barn. In the end, we did not move it out. We left it in and we were able to finish it, the construction.
We received some grant money.
Yeah, we
didn't
got
So we ended up
money,
not having to move it.
we did some work ourselves, we didn't have to move it out, so that $250,000 is still sitting there, that you approved coming out, but it didn't come out. So,
I don't know about y'all, but, as I was reading through all of these and I got to fund assuming this is referring to the stipend that we approved. Is that correct when I look at that, that's what that means?
We have actually a line item in there for board expenses, for like, for training, for legal fees, for whatever, it's in there. And so we can move that out to
Okay, good.
have some extra money.
Good.
And
Okay,
that-
good.
and that's usually what he does at this time of year, but
I was
it's
like-
there as a safety net
Those
for if
cookies
we
are
have,
expensive.
if we have.
Let's go with some generic brands.
Oreos. But anyway,
Okay.
it's always in there,
Okay, good.
we just move it around.
And that's good to, as you're looking at this, to know that retention stipend that's listed right ahead of that is that 90,000. And, because people have, a couple people have, left or retired. A couple people are now eligible for it because they completed their first year, so you're gonna land pretty close. If you kept the dollar amount the same, so we'll discuss that in a second, but you land pretty close if you stay the same.
And remember, when you approve this, then we will be out of debt on the insurance. We will pay the service center back for everything and,
Where's that line?
well, it's insurance in here, they moved, from building construction, they got $58,000 for insurance. And, I don't know where Ollie got it, but that is, I asked that specific question. He did this while I was gone, and I didn't get to talk to him in person, and I apologize for that. But he and Ally worked on it, and I said, so Ally, when this is all approved, then we will have our insurance bill paid. We bought men uniforms, remember, and they were not budgeted for, so that added, but he took money out to pay for it.
What vehicle did we purchase?
Was that activity bus?
Is the money that we're proposing to pay, is that going directly to our employees, like it's not going into a big pot?
Beg your pardon?
Like, the money that we're paying, is that going into like,
The money we're paying to.
goes?
The 250,000?
Yeah,
That's
in other
gonna
words,
pay
they
every
want
one
to
of those hospital
guarantee
bills.
our staff members' bills are paid.
Exactly, that's what it's gonna pay, is every one of those.
The-
The service center has already paid it.
Yeah,
We're paying the service center.
so no one, and if they are, they should still bring every one of those in. If somebody's holding on to an invoice, they should be turning them in.
They should have already.
Yeah,
So a school district that is saying they're not going to pay, did the service center already pay theirs too?
They'll be caught because they were the fiscal agent. That was my understanding.
so then those schools will run into the question of who would insure them in the future. Because they signed a contract saying, if this were to happen, so
So
hold up
nobody
your
will
financial
watch it.
obligation. And so, and also, some of them, I won't say that they're the problem, but some of them were in a negative space, we were not. And so, and their numbers are higher as well. And so, some of them maybe even can't pay them, because their numbers are so high. But they are gonna run into a major issue with who is gonna insure them in the future, and that we are very lucky to not be in that situation. We're gonna do this year, and then we'll have options come up in the future as well.
That'll be a good point for bargaining for better.
Yeah, that we're not required to, we have options, yeah.
And I see that in this printed, there's some words at the end of each one of those page things that did not print, so.
So if I understand this right, your $340,000 budget went up to just under $1 million.
That's correct. So it's increased, the change right now is $545,654.
And half of that's that insurance.
That is, it's around about $250,000. Is that correct? Is that, yeah.
But we also put lights in at the softball field, that was not in the original budget, and we, I think we did something else.
I wonder,
Well,
if-
and not all the stuff that you're doing tonight.
I'm thinking that some of the, they don't always, the expenditure categories are not always really straightforward, because like instruction would include, you know, could potentially not just include salaries, but also, you know, insurance and things like that, but I'm thinking that. I wish there was a very clear explanation.
Dr. Miller, how accurate is the state revenue, 515,000, not gonna round it?
So he mentions that, I think, on the second page, we have had, $515,871 of state revenue that's, coming out due to the decline in enrollment.
It's all
correct.
enrollment.
He's worked our decline in enrollment and our taxes that were protested into this. He's pretty firm on it. This is not nearly as much fun as normally in this time of year when we have a surplus, but that's why we have fund balance. There are schools that will not be able to move forward. And we are really, really good shape.
And so our fund balance has how much in it right now? We're gonna take about $1 million.
Just over 10 million.
So we've got 10, we're gonna take right under $1 million out, and I think last year we put
Put
$1
almost
million
$1 million
in.
in. And we'd be really comfortable with
Yes, yes, that's what
we
you're
would
saying.
be safe.
Oh, well, yeah.
We'd be safe, but not happy, but safe.
Yeah, but we're almost, yeah. Okay, guys, further questions?
Looking for a motion.
Yes. There's no further questions, yes.
Make a motion, we approve the proposed budget, number 1.
Thank you, Derek. Looking for a second? Thank you, Heath. All those in favor? Carol, are you for this? Yep, okay, thank you. Okay, now let's talk about the stipend for staff. Last year, I believe it was $600 per, it's not per employee. It is per employee? Okay, so per employee, and those that were returning, so you had to be a returning, so if it was your first year, you did not qualify. So that's what I was talking about a second ago. Several people have completed their first year, and now they are eligible for this. Several people have left, so you're gonna kind of be pretty close. And I think we talked about, the potential of, first off, I'll say, you know, we approved it last year, and thank y'all. I think it was really great. I think it was appreciated. We got it in the April meeting, I believe. And so therefore teachers knew before they left for the summer that they were gonna have this and that they were gonna get it right before Christmas, which was a great time frame to receive it. So I think it went really well. I'm wanting this back on the agenda again, to see if we could do it again. But I definitely have thought about, Maribel has talked to me about the idea of increasing it because of what we were talking about. You know, a lot of people don't take the insurance, and so it's a great way to, you know, it covers everyone. And we're trying to help out as much as we can. We're trying to incentivize, and so, we had talked about, you know, we're open to suggestions on what that might look like, but I would love 600, but I would also love to go higher.
How many district employees?
I think we discussed 140, right?
I think 130 to 140 would be how many that would be returning.
And is that staff, that's everybody?
That's everybody, that's custodians, bus drivers, and then we made the mistake last year of not telling the co-op, and so the co-op did go ahead and, the board over there, gave us stipend, but we'll tell them this year if we do it. And so, because we had some feelings hurt, because they felt like they were employees of our district, and they're not, that we're the fiscal agent for their district, for their group.
So we helped them out.
Yes.
Because.
And we would again, if you do it, we will again.
Good.
But if it's $1,000, it's easy to figure.
So you could go up
And
to
it will-
$1,000,
and
you
it will
could,
be-
you could get in the
And
middle.
then we'll pick next year's budget, when you set the budget.
Right. And I still like that November, payout, I think that's a nice touch, right? Yep.
What if we, instead of 1,750?
Yeah, I think whatever you're thinking there is gonna be really good.
Cost impact. So,
I think it would be appreciated, I think the staff would appreciate it tremendously.
I think that, whereas sometimes we're running into some issues here and getting into deficit budget, things like that, so are they. So we need to be really aware of that and see what we can do to help out.
I will say that I've discussed with you all before that we have been very mindful of our decrease in enrollment. I think Ms. Womack told you today that, that's one of the reasons that we thought about cutting that staff. We cut several positions through attrition. We have not let people go, but through attrition. We continue to look at those as opportunities arise.
Well, I move that we approve retention stipend for staff at $750 per person.
I'll second that.
Y'all ready, or am I still calculating?
okay.
Okay, right, all those in favor?
Me.
Thank you. Okay, and one abstaining. Thank you all very much. So how do you do that? Do you send out a message, or do the principals send out a message? If y'all could let your staff know so that they will come back, that would be great. Okay. 9.6, consideration and approval of the public hearing for notification of nonprofit schools.
These are-
There's a little blurb about that
This
here.
is just something that's required by law that we have to post and we have to have, and so, part of it is it needs to be on the agenda at a board meeting, so I ask you to approve that.
I'll make a motion to
Yep.
approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Me.
Thank you. Okay, the 9.7, consideration and approval to grant the superintendent the authority to approve professional contracts. And I wondered about this. You're gonna go all the way to August 31, or do you go to the board meeting?
Well, we went to August 31 last year,
Okay.
because we do have office board meeting
Mhm.
on August 30.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So it's from May 21 until August 31.
And I would put a caveat in there, this will be, not principals, I will bring.
Okay, because I was about to say, no, I think we better.
Shipping always in the past, Dr. Maribel has done a hiring committee for principals.
That was
Yeah.
gonna be my question, what is the, process on
Yeah.
those? I haven't.
It's a committee, it'll be a committee, we've already contacted, someone on the middle school campus, a teacher, a lead teacher. They've already put a committee together, and, our timeline right now is posted. We'll hopefully have interviews on the 10th, the week of the 10th, so that I can bring a recommendation to you all on the 17th, which is a board meeting.
Okay.
So,
And so I would like to request if Amber is willing, that Amber be on that hiring committee and help us with that. Now that, if that's taboo, that's fine, but I think she knows the inner workings very personally. Sorry.
that's fine, I trust Amber.
Would that be intimidating?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I interviewed one time for a job, and the sitting superintendent was on it, and it just, it was not, it
I
was.
will not be in town on June 10th. I will be out of the state.
Okay, that's fine. Let me just say that Ms. Amy, committee together, and called me this afternoon, and I don't have them on. I think Kenzie's name was on it.
There's a very lengthy list of things.
It's not just one or two, so there's a list, and as you know, when we do these committees, I do not vote. I go to the meetings, I listen, I get to talk some, but I don't vote. And Lisa will sit on the committee just because it helps, but she and I are not voting members. We're there to make sure that they get to have all input, they hear the candidates, and we have had two, in writing, and we've had one call, already, so there is interest. But she can't be replaced, we'll just have somebody new.
I know what you did, I'm not here.
Well, while we're talking on the hiring this summer, the girls' athletics has been pretty well gutted for people. I know there's some postings out there, some combo teacher coaches. What about the lead or head of girls' athletics?
I talked to Jacob just today, he said he thought he probably was not gonna have a girls' coordinator, that he was gonna take that on himself. I asked him if he would put a plan together, because I think you had suggested at the last board meeting, and told him it would be on the agenda for June to come with his plan. And so he agreed, he thought that was right. I will tell you that our one that's on here to be hired tonight has already scheduled a softball, workshop, camp for the summer.
Sure.
Yeah, she actually sent out like a group message to all the girls that play softball and was like introducing herself and talked about, I mean, it was very, awesome.
So we're hoping we can find somebody just as awesome, and, we're looking, so, for their other programs. And I did talk to him just today about this, so.
Okay, other comments or questions on this one?
Okay, so to recap, the principal, there's a committee of the junior high employees already, and they will look at whoever the candidates are and do the interviewing, and then they come up with who they would prefer, and then they bring it to us to approve. Okay.
Yep.
Alright, just need
Yeah.
follow
And
it
that's
all.
why the timeline is correct, because it's the week of the 10th, and then y'all meet on the 17th, and you can get it done. I would like very much to get that person in place before Amber is totally gone, so that if she cleans out her office and she starts to throw it away, that person can say, oh, no, don't throw that away. Those kinds of things, so, I think it'll work really quickly, and we'll just.
When does so you put it out there, I'm assuming it's on our website or whatever, and how long is it open for, how much longer?
Until filled, but as I'm receiving people's applications, I'm writing them back and saying, thank you for your interest, and we plan to interview the week of the 10th, so that they know that it is a pretty fast turnaround. And
It's just an evergreen posting that stays there until you remove it? Okay.
But it needs to stay at least 2 weeks,
Sure, yeah.
so,
But
and we
if you don't
posted
find
that's
anybody,
what-
then it just continues.
but we're going to find somebody really wonderful. So,
Okay, one other question. When they're hired, both Jacob looking at them, but the principal, if they're teachers, do they do that together? Or does the authority to hire if they're teacher and coach?
well, if y'all give me permission, I will I'll have the authority after they make the recommendation. But the principal, we hire teachers who coach, not coaches who teach.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Okay, I say that all the time, we hire teachers who coach, but not coaches who teach. And sometimes we all work together to come out the other end of the road. And so in the interview, the athletic director should be there if it's a dual contract. He should be in the interview, so.
Other questions? Looking for a motion.
Oh, wait, also, so as far as like, so like one of the things that Amber did, was she's the cheer, sponsor. So is that something, do you have to be, how does that work? Does like, so say Kinsey wanted to be the cheer sponsor, does she say, Dr. Marable, I would like to be the cheer sponsor?
I'd say, well, thank you very much.
Congratulations for
Yes.
volunteering.
That was the one job Ms. Hobson said no. I'm going to tell you no on that.
I'll do anything else.
So people actually ask to do that, and do you have to,
No, like, normally I ask.
you ask them, you
I
volunteer?
beg people to do that. It is not a fun job. There is a stipend, but it's not nearly enough, but there is a stipend for it.
And I believe
It's-
probably a requirement to have, maybe not a CDL, but what did you have to have? Because you have to drive that activity bus so that they're,
I wish that you would be able to drive the bus so that you can get the kids there.
I think there is one person interested in junior high that is currently on our campus, so.
and I did fail to mention when I was thanking you about your campus administrator role, your amazing job at your sponsor. I did not get to go to all the pep rallies, but the one that I did get to go to, or the two that I got to go to were amazing, and I've heard lots of parents talk about how great those pep rallies are and just how just stunning the girls are and what an amazing job they do, so very good job with that. Thank you.
I make a motion to approve 9.7.
Listen, Cody, we're just wanting to visit, don't be rushing us along.
No, we're not rushing, we just want to go off that.
I like how you should sit down and stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to-
Whatever it is.
Yeah, I just know that's where we're at.
8, 9, 2, whatever.
Looking for a second on that one.
Oh, I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
How did you miss that?
Well, at the 9:27,
Thank you,
I
Terrell.
missed the words.
That was, also the board.
Okay.
Rachel, did you say anything?
Thank you. Yeah, Cody and Rachel, and then seven,
Cody got me off with the now.
Okay, consideration and approval of the teacher evaluation calendar. Should all
This
see.
is just every year we have to do this, and it's a formality, and Cody,
I make a motion to approve 9.8.
Second.
Cody, I'll put the words to it.
Okay.
and he seconded.
Looking for a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Right.
Thank you. Okay, and then consideration and approval of a date for a board workshop. Cody, you gonna do that one too?
Yeah.
You want a board workshop?
You got a date already? Throw it out there.
This is not something you have to do, I just put it on there so that it reminds you might want to do it. I think that Ms. Morris can call one when she wants, when she feels like
I
it.
think that I'm trying to think that we try to do that in August, and we do it, we back it up to our budget planning, and so that might be a good
Right.
time, and it's just more of an informal, of course, the public can always come too, but it's more of an informal, we can kind of discuss a couple things.
Those are the meetings before the meetings?
It's a meeting before a meeting, it's
All
the
right.
same day, yes,
Meeting
the same
planning.
day.
That's what I
Yeah.
remember a few of
So
those.
we can vote on that in June when we have the exact date, but I think that is gonna correspond with the budget workshop.
I just put it in there
Yes, thank you.
to remind us.
So we'll just, we can come back up in the June meeting then. Okay, let's move to, personnel.
And we go into executive session.
I think, executive session was wanted, and so if you wanna make that motion, Dr. Boswell?
I so moved it, I don't know, it's 9 point something.
10.
Yes,
10.
10.
10 points.
10.
Yeah,